Every single day. Right now, as we speak, about $375 is just quietly walking out the front door of the average local business.
Yeah, just walking right out.
And over a year, I mean, if you do the math on that, that is $126,000.
Which is, I mean, that's a fatal number for a lot of small operations.
Right. And the craziest part about this is that it's not employee theft, you know?
Yeah.
It's not inflation. It's not some massive, complex macroeconomic shift that you hear about on the news.
Oh, way more subtle than that.
Exactly. It's a leak so completely silent that most business owners or, managers and executives, they don't even know they have a hole in the boat.
They're completely blind to it.
Right now, across almost every industry you can think of, organizations are just bleeding money, time, and leads.
It really is the absolute definition of an invisible crisis. Because, normally when a business is losing $100,000, there are alarms blaring.
Right, you'd notice.
Exactly. You can see the inventory missing from the warehouse. Or you can actually see the clients actively calling up and canceling their contracts.
That's a paper trail.
Yeah, but this is entirely different. You cannot fix a hole in the hull of your ship if you just, refuse to look below the waterline.
And that is precisely our mission for today's deep dive. We are taking a forensic look into the hidden leaks of modern business.
And more importantly, how to actually fix them.
Yes, exactly. We are looking at the incredibly sophisticated automation technology that is being designed, like right now, to plug those leaks.
Yeah.
And we have an absolutely massive stack of sources to pull from today.
A really diverse stack, too.
Super diverse. We're looking at these dense white papers on workforce analytics from a company called ActiveTrack. We've got these eye-opening behavioral studies on this concept called speed to lead from platforms like GreetNow and Lead Prospecting AI.
The speed to lead data is just wild.
It completely blew my mind. We are also digging into raw, unyielding data on the true cost of missed calls from telecom providers like Phone2 and Surge.
Yeah, the hard telecom numbers.
Right, and we've even got healthcare scheduling statistics from Dr. Connect. And then to ground all of this in reality, we have raw, boots-on-the-ground insights from the actual creators of home service CRM software.
Customer relationship management tools, right?
Exactly, CRMs like QuoteIQ and My Service Robot.
It is such a fascinating cross-section of intelligence. Because on the surface, a sprawling medical clinic, a multi-million-dollar pressure washing company, and some sterile corporate HR department, these seem like they exist in completely different universes.
Right, they have nothing in common.
But they do. What ties all these diverse sources together is this fundamental, almost radical shift in how we value time.
Oh, totally.
We're talking about the worker's time on the inside of the company and the consumer's time on the outside.
And for you listening right now, I want to frame this very carefully before we jump in. Do not just listen to this as a business lesson for someone else's company,
Yeah, it applies to everyone.
It really does. This is a masterclass in recognizing and reclaiming lost capacity in literally any aspect of your professional life.
Absolutely.
Whether you run a massive hospital, or you lead a small sales team, or you just want to manage your own daily email inbox without losing your mind. You have leaks.
We all have leaks.
So let's start by looking inside the house before we even glance at the front door. Our first source, ActiveTrack, brings us this staggering data point about what they call the internal void of an organization.
This is where it gets real.
Yeah, so they provide workforce analytics, which is basically software that helps companies understand how work actually gets done on a daily basis. And their baseline data is just a total gut punch.
It's hard to read.
It says most organizations lose 20 to 30% of their workforce capacity to hidden inefficiencies.
Let's just pause on that. 20 to 30%.
It's huge.
If you have 100 employees, that means the equivalent of 20 to 30 human beings are essentially doing absolutely nothing that actually moves the needle for the company.
Just burning cash.
Exactly. And the financial implications of that are staggering. ActiveTrack notes that this represents millions of dollars in unrealized labor ROI every single year.
Millions.
It is a massive pool of capital that you're paying out in salaries and benefits, but you're getting zero return on it.
And what's really interesting is how the conversation around this specific leak is shifting. Like ActiveTrack makes the point that workforce optimization used to be this mid-level management headache.
Yeah, the floor manager's job.
Wait, the guy walking around making sure people were physically typing at their desks. Okay, let's get into those.
The first is called financial loss analysis, and the second is activity alignment.
Right, so let's break down exactly what those are because, I mean, the names sound very corporate, but the mechanics behind them are fascinating.
They really are.
Financial loss analysis essentially takes these vague, fluffy concepts of like productivity gaps and slaps a hard, undeniable dollar figure right on them.
It makes it real for the CFO.
Exactly. It quantifies underutilized full-time equivalents, which is just HR speak for your full-time staff, and calculates their actual salary costs against their productive output.
And the level of detail is crazy. You can filter this massive data set by department, by physical office location, or by these specific productivity thresholds.
And the results are wild. The text says early adopters of this specific tool are seeing a 15 to 20% reduction in idle capacity within just 90 days.
90 days, that's 1/4.
And they're seeing up to 10% payroll cost savings. There's this case study in the source material about a company called Parts ASAP.
Oh yeah, the Parts ASAP study is a great example.
Right, so they used ActiveTrack to deal with these massive operational challenges from recent acquisitions, and also this big shift to remote work. By plugging this leak, they achieved a 122x return on their investment in the software.
122x.
That translated to $6.82 million in benefits.
That is a transformative number for any CFO.
Yeah.
You don't ignore $6 million.
No, you definitely don't.
But the second tool, activity alignment, is where it gets really interesting from an operational day-to-day standpoint.
How so?
Well, this tool gives managers absolute clarity into how employee time is actually distributed between high-value activities and low-value activities.
Okay.
It's basically designed to identify digital distractions, highlight misaligned focus areas, and even provide a built-in coaching framework for managers to use with their teams.
Let me stop you there, actually. Because when I read tracking idle capacity and software monitoring activity alignment, my brain immediately goes to a very dark place.
I know exactly where you're going.
It sounds exactly like corporate spyware. I mean,
Yeah.
how is this not just micromanaging employees to death?
It's the big elephant in the room.
Right. Are they tracking keystrokes and taking random screenshots of people's webcams to make sure they aren't looking away from the screen? Because that's terrifying.
That is the absolute natural reaction, and frankly, it is the biggest hurdle that the entire workforce analytics industry has to overcome culturally.
I would hate to work under that.
Anyone would.
Yeah.
But if we look at the mechanics of how ActiveTrack approaches this, as outlined in their white papers, it is fundamentally different from spyware.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Spyware is punitive. It's entirely about catching someone doing something wrong. Activity alignment is about systemic operational effectiveness. It isn't tracking individual keystrokes or reading your private Slack messages or emails.
So what is it trapping then?
It is categorizing application metadata.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in practice?
Imagine a dashboard on a manager's screen. On the left side, you see a category called Core Engineering Tasks, and that might include time spent actively in software like GitHub or Jira.
The actual tools of the job.
Exactly. On the right, you see administrative overhead, which is time spent in internal messaging apps, or generic HR portals, or endless virtual meetings.
Okay, I'm following.
Now, if you're a senior software developer, someone you pay a massive premium for, is suddenly spending 4 hours a day in generic administrative portals, the system flags a misaligned activity.
Oh, I see.
It's not saying the employee is lazy or stealing time. It's saying the system is broken.
It's like leaving the central air conditioning running with all the windows wide open in the middle of August.
That's a perfect analogy.
You're paying this massive utility bill. The meter on the side of the house is just spinning out of control, but the house isn't getting cold. The energy is there. The employee is working incredibly hard, but it's being completely wasted by the environment they're stuck in.
Precisely. And this ties directly into preventing burnout, which is another massive hidden cost.
Oh, for sure.
Think about it from the perspective of a chief human resources officer. If you have behavioral insights showing that an employee is suddenly spending 60 hours a week on low-value, repetitive tasks,
They are going to quit.
it is a guaranteed recipe for severe burnout and eventual turnover. You will lose that talent.
Right.
This data allows the CHRO to step in and fix the workflow, rather than just waiting for the employee to walk out the door.
Or take a COO, right. This data uncovers these invisible workload imbalances.
Yes. The workload imbalances are huge.
Like maybe Team A is drowning in work, logging on every single weekend, while Team B has 40% idle capacity just because some project got delayed on their end.
And without the data, the COO might just blindly approve expensive overtime for Team A.
Exactly. But with the data, they can logically restructure the workload across both teams.
So it's less about catching someone watching a YouTube video on their lunch break and much more about realizing your top-tier talent is bogged down formatting spreadsheets because your company's actual data pipeline is outdated.
ActiveTrack's CEO, Heidi Ferris, actually makes a brilliant point in the text about this exact thing.
What does she say?
She notes that executives have always had these incredibly sophisticated, granular systems for tracking sales pipelines and marketing funnels.
Oh, down to the penny.
Right, but workforce performance itself has remained this completely opaque black box.
Exactly. This technology transitions workforce metrics from a gut feeling into a clear, actionable business driver.
It turns human capital into a measurable operational system.
It does. But as crucial as it is to optimize your internal team and plug that 20% leak we just talked about,
Yeah.
it fundamentally does not matter how efficient your staff is if there is no actual work coming to the door to begin with.
Yes. So that internal capacity is the AC leaking out the windows.
Right.
But the front door of the business is where the most devastating, fatal leak of all is happening. We are talking about the true cost of missed calls.
This is where the numbers get really scary.
And I have to tell you, the raw data provided by telecom platforms like Phone2 and Surge by Thrive, it completely floored me.
The math here is genuinely brutal.
Tell me about it.
According to the aggregated research from these platforms, the average small business loses $126,000 a year simply to missed calls.
Let me just repeat that. That is $10,500 a month.
It's insane.
That is $375 literally walking out the door every single day. And the consumer behavior driving that loss is what really fascinated me.
It's a complete shift in patience.
Totally. Call HIPAA research shows that 85% of callers who cannot reach a business on the first try will not call back.
85%.
They simply hang up and immediately dial a competitor. And 80% won't even bother leaving a voicemail.
Traditional voicemail is effectively dead as a reliable lead capture tool. People hate leaving them, and frankly, business owners hate listening to them.
I certainly hate listening to them.
Same. And when you look at the industry-specific devastation in the data, it really puts that $126,000 average into perspective.
Yeah, let's look at the specific industries.
Skip Call's research shows that contractors, so we're talking plumbers, HVAC technicians, electricians, they lose $50,000 or more annually just to the phone ringing out.
And their average job is anywhere from $350 to $9,000.
Right. Real estate agents. They lose $150,000 or more a year, considering their average commission is between $8,000 and $15,000.
That's just a few missed phone calls to hit that number. But the absolute craziest one to me was law firms.
Oh, the legal sector is bleeding.
The data shows they lose upwards of $250,000 a year to missed calls. And an average legal case can be worth anywhere from $3,000 to $50,000.
It's massive. And it's critical to understand the actual mechanics of why these calls are being missed in the first place.
It's not just people being lazy, right?
No, it is very rarely because people are lazy or ignoring the phone. CallRail data shows that peak call times for home services, for example, are between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m.
When everyone gets home from work and realizes the AC is broken.
Exactly. But the administrative staff at the AC company has already gone home for the day.
The office is closed.
Or, ironically, the business misses the call because the owner is physically busy doing the actual work for another customer.
Right. They can't answer the phone because they are under a house running electrical wire or in the middle of a serious legal consultation.
It's like
a fisherman spending thousands of dollars on the absolute best bait, the best boat, the most expensive sonar gear.
I love this analogy.
Right. But the exact second the fish finally bites, he's looking at his phone. The fish doesn't wait around for him to notice. It just swims to the next hook.
The irony is just punishing. The very act of serving a customer is exactly what prevents you from acquiring the next customer.
Hold on, though. I have to push back on one thing here.
Sure, go for it.
I can completely understand abandoning a $350 plumbing job.
Sure.
If my toilet is overflowing, I need someone literally right now. I don't care who it is. I'm calling the next guy.
It's an emergency.
But a $50,000 legal case. Are you telling me that someone facing a life-altering lawsuit, something that could ruin them financially or literally send them to prison, just dials the next random lawyer on Google because the first one went to voicemail?
I know,
That makes no logical sense to me.
it sounds completely counterintuitive when you view it purely through the lens of transaction value.
Right.
But the data insists the answer is yes.
Uh,
And if we look at the psychology of the consumer search journey, highlighted in these texts, the mechanism becomes crystal clear.
What's the mechanism?
It all comes down to urgency and anxiety.
Yeah.
When someone needs a defense lawyer, or an emergency plumber, or even a realtor to sell their house because they are unexpectedly relocating, they are almost never in a calm, analytical state of mind.
They're freaking out.
They're in a state of high anxiety, sometimes a full-blown crisis. They aren't looking for a prestigious brand to be loyal to. They are looking for immediate psychological relief.
Relief.
Yes. If you don't answer the phone, you aren't providing that relief, so they find someone who will.
So the sheer anxiety of the situation completely overrides the perceived value or reputation of any specific firm.
Exactly.
They just need a human voice on the other end to say, I hear you and I can help.
Precisely. And Phone2's data highlights a secondary mechanism here that they call the ripple effect.
The ripple effect.
Yeah, a missed call isn't just one isolated lost job. It breaks the entire future referral chain.
Oh, of course, because they can't refer you if they never used you.
Exactly. Their data shows that happy customers refer an average of 2 to 3 new customers over time. So a missed call for a simple $500 job might actually represent $1,250 in lost lifetime value.
It compounds.
Furthermore, you are quite literally setting your marketing budget on fire.
How so?
Well, WordStream data shows that the average cost per call from Google Ads is $56 for home services and up to $73 for legal services.
$73 for a single click.
Every single time the phone rings from an ad and you don't answer, that is $73 you paid Google for absolutely nothing.
So if you miss 10 calls in a week, you just burn $730.
Poof. Gone.
That is brutal. So if we know that a missed call is essentially a death sentence for a lead, and that anxiety drives the consumer to the next option instantly, the natural question is, exactly how fast do we actually need to answer?
Right. What's the baseline?
What is the modern consumer's expectation? And the answer to that, in these sources, fundamentally breaks how most traditional businesses operate.
This is where we look at the concept of speed to lead.
Speed to lead.
And the platforms Greet Now and Lead Prospecting AI provide the brutal, unyielding math on response times. This entire concept revolves heavily around a landmark 2011 study from MIT.
I saw that in the notes.
Yeah, that study analyzed 15,000 leads and over 100,000 call attempts. It established what became the gold standard in sales, known as the 5-minute rule.
Right. The 5-minute rule states that contacting a lead within 5 minutes makes you 100 times more likely to successfully contact them.
100 times.
And 21 times more likely to actually qualify them compared to waiting just 30 minutes.
But here's the critical update for the modern market.
Things have changed since 2011.
Drastically. The data shows that 5 minutes is no longer the target. It is now the absolute ceiling.
The ceiling.
Top-performing teams are aiming for under 60 seconds. Velocify research shows that responding within 1 minute boosts conversion rates by a staggering 391%.
391%.
And the decay curve after that first minute is terrifying.
Let's hear it.
If you wait between 5 and 10 minutes, your conversion rate drops by 80%.
Just off a cliff.
If you wait 30 minutes, as the MIT study showed, you are 21 times less likely to convert. What if you wait a full 24 hours?
I can't even imagine.
You are 60 times less likely to even qualify that lead. And it all culminates in this ultimate statistic from the Light Response Management Study. 78% of customers buy from the company that responds first.
78%.
They call it the first responder advantage.
They don't buy from the cheapest option. They don't buy from the one with the fanciest website or the best reviews. 78% of the time, they simply buy from the fastest.
The one who answered the bell. But then you contrast that expectation with the reality gap.
The reality gap.
Harvard Business Review audited over 2,200 U.S. companies to see how they actually performed in real life.
The average B2B response time in that HBR study was 42 hours.
42 hours.
When the mathematical expectation for success is under 5 minutes.
It's a massive disconnect. And InsideSales.com found that a full 30% of sales leads are literally never contacted at all.
30% just vanish.
They just disappear into a database and no one ever calls them.
We tend to treat leads like they are physical files sitting in a manila folder on a desk, just waiting patiently to be open whenever we finally get around to it.
Yeah, like they have nowhere else to be.
But a lead isn't a fine wine that gets better with age. It's an ice cube on a hot sidewalk.
That is so accurate.
And the reason the ice cube melts so fast isn't just time. It's what you mentioned earlier, dopamine and anxiety.
The psychological drivers.
The second they hit submit on a form or dial a number, they want the dopamine hit of the problem being solved. When the minute passes, the dopamine drops, the anxiety spikes, and they immediately go find another source of relief.
They need that closure.
Every single minute that ticks by, the value of that lead evaporates.
But wait, I have to look at this from the consumer's perspective for a second.
Okay.
Doesn't rushing ruin the quality of the interaction?
In what way?
Like, if I'm reaching out to a company, I would much rather get a highly personalized, thoughtful email from a real human tomorrow morning than receive some generic, automated hello text from a bot right this exact second.
It's like a trade-off.
Right. Isn't extreme speed the enemy of actual personalization?
It is a very common objection, and it makes logical sense, but the data completely refutes it.
Really?
Gartner research shows that lead quality perception, meaning how the consumer views your business's competence and reliability, drops by 10% for every single hour of delay.
Regardless of the response. Regardless of how good the response actually is when it finally arrives. A perfectly crafted, highly personalized, beautiful response sent 24 hours later statistically performs worse than a basic, standard response sent immediately.
Wow. So in the mind of the consumer, the delay itself is the bad customer service.
The silence is the insult.
That is wild.
Exactly. The solution that these sources point to is the hybrid approach.
Okay, what's the hybrid approach?
Basic personalization combined with extreme speed beats high personalization combined with delay every single time.
So good enough and fast beats perfect and slow.
Exactly. You use automation to achieve the speed, to acknowledge the inquiry instantly and stop them from calling a competitor, and then you use human beings to step in and handle the actual complex conversion.
Which means we have to acknowledge a physical reality here.
What's that?
Human beings physically cannot answer every single call or form submission in under 60 seconds.
It's impossible.
It is biologically impossible because they are driving or working or asleep. So how do we actually bridge that gap? We deploy what is essentially a digital bouncer.
This brings us to the automated front desk.
The automated front desk.
This is where we see the immediate tactical fixes from platforms like Surge and Phone 2.
Let's talk about the specific tools.
The most basic, incredibly high-impact tool here is the missed call text back.
I love this one.
It is so simple but so effective. Someone calls your business, you don't answer, and within 3 seconds, the CRM system automatically texts their mobile number.
Sorry we missed you. We're currently helping another customer. How can we help you today? Or you can click here to schedule.
It instantly stops the anxiety. They got a response.
They feel seen.
Phone 2 also champions things like shared team numbers. Instead of the call going to one receptionist's desk phone, which is a huge bottleneck, it rings to an app on every team member's device simultaneously.
Totally eliminating the single point of failure.
Plus, they use AI voicemail transcription. If someone does actually leave a voicemail, the AI transcribes it instantly into text.
Because reading a text takes 5 seconds, while dialing in, entering a PIN, and listening to a rambling 2-minute voicemail takes forever.
And every second counts, especially during periods of massive volume, like what lead prospecting AI refers to as March Madness.
Oh, March Madness. This was fascinating.
March Madness is their term for the massive spring surge in demand for home service businesses.
When the weather changes, right?
When the weather changes, homeowners suddenly wake up and remember all their deferred maintenance. HVAC job growth spikes 8% faster than average occupations during this time.
And they mentioned pipes, too.
Yes. Winter pipe emergencies can spike 609% in a single month like January.
900%.
And this sudden massive volume is exactly what exposes a business's broken manual follow-up systems.
Because they can't handle the load.
Right. If you get 50 leads in February, you might be able to handle it manually with sticky notes and spreadsheets.
Sure, maybe.
But when you get 150 leads in April, the human system completely collapses.
Lead prospecting AI makes the point that you need a rigid automated sequence for every single lead. Even the cold ones that said no 6 months ago.
Especially the cold ones.
Because 79% of marketing leads fail to convert without long-term nurturing. But the automation goes way beyond just sending a text message.
Right. It's not just SMS.
We also have to look at how businesses are automating the actual pricing and quoting.
Which is usually a massive bottleneck.
Exactly. A company called Sinopi, which builds CPQ software that stands for Configure Price, quote, notes that automated quoting systems can increase conversion rates by up to 300%.
Because it removes the most agonizing waiting period for the consumer.
Right.
The customer doesn't have to wait 3 days for an estimator to physically drive out to their house, look the property, go back to the office, and finally email a PDF.
Which takes forever. But there is a very crucial warning here from one of our sources that highlights the danger of relying too heavily on raw artificial intelligence for this.
Yes, from Mike Vidane.
Mike Vidane, who is the co-founder of the CRM Quote IQ and a veteran of the pressure washing industry, he points out a major flaw in how some people are trying to use AI for quoting.
His perspective was really illuminating.
It was. He says you absolutely cannot just rely on an AI to guess a quote based on pulling Zillow satellite data or public property records.
Right, because an AI can easily look at a Google Earth satellite image and give you the exact square footage of a roof or a driveway in seconds.
Which seems great at first.
It seems like magic. But as Vidane notes, square footage doesn't tell you the whole story.
Not at all.
The satellite doesn't know if the front door is made of delicate stained wood that will be completely ruined by bleach. It doesn't know how long it's been since the house was last washed.
It doesn't know if the windows have fragile oxidized screens or if there is heavy baked-on clay buildup on the siding.
Real accurate quoting requires real on-the-ground information.
So tools like Quote IQ's InstaQuote feature force the customer to manually answer preset specific questions about their property to trigger real pricing logic.
Rather than just relying on a blind AI, I guess.
Right. So instead of hitting a dead-end voicemail, this whole automated ecosystem is like a digital maitre d' stepping in.
I like that.
They can't physically cook your meal, but the literal second you walk in the door, they sit you down, hand you a menu, ask about your severe peanut allergy, and get you a glass of water so you feel attended to.
And you don't turn around and leave the restaurant.
Exactly. But regarding Mike Vidane's point on his quoting software, do customers really want to do that work?
That's the million-dollar question.
If I want my house washed, do I really want to sit on my phone and fill out a form answering highly specific questions about oxidation and screen types? Isn't that adding massive friction to the buying process?
It is friction, yes. But it is what behavioral economists call positive friction.
Positive friction.
The psychology here is fascinating and very specific. Serious customers, the ones who actually have high intent to buy, prefer giving accurate information because they want an accurate price.
They don't want surprises.
Exactly. Think about the alternative scenario. If a fast AI guesstimate gives them a super low price of $200.
Because it didn't see the clay buildup.
Right. But then the technician physically arrives on site, sees the delicate stained wood door, realizes the job is twice as hard, and has to hike the price to $400 on the spot.
You now have a furious customer.
A completely furious customer.
Mm-hmm.
Detailed remote quoting with positive friction sets proper expectations.
It protects the business's profit margins, and it protects the customer from feeling like they are a victim of a bait and switch.
It builds trust through transparency. The friction proves you actually know what you're doing.
Okay, we've seen the theory of how this technology works. We've seen the devastating stats on missed calls and response times. Now, I want to look at what happens when a business owner actually weaponizes these exact tools in the real world.
To actually scale an empire.
Because theory is great, but execution is everything. Let's look at the story of Corey Edmonds.
Corey Edmonds' story, which was detailed in his incredibly candid interview with Pressure Washing Marketing Pros, is an absolute masterclass.
It really is.
It's a masterclass in applying advanced automation to a gritty, traditional blue-collar industry.
So he started with a $1,500 pressure washing business in Georgia, basically washing cars on dealership lots.
Grinding it out.
He worked relentlessly and built it up to $700,000 in gross revenue, and managed to lose $7,000.
He did $700,000 in physical manual labor, and his accountant looked at him and told him he was in the red.
He literally lost money doing that much work because his systems and his operations were a total mess.
Which is tragically common.
So he burns the whole thing down. He moves all the way to Washington State with about $30,000 to his name, drives a box truck across the country, and starts completely over.
A total reset.
And this time, he builds a business that successfully scales to $2.5 million.
And the architecture of that $2.5 million business was entirely built on automation,
Using what exactly?
primarily using a unified platform called High Level.
Right.
And it's important to understand what High Level is. It's not just a simple texting app. It's a comprehensive CRM that replaces 10 different software subscriptions.
It does everything.
It centralizes emails, SMS, funnel building, and pipeline management into one engine that operates on behavioral triggers.
He didn't just audit the customer text backs, though. He automated the incredibly unsexy, tedious internal operations, too.
Yes, his internal systems were brilliant.
Look at how he built his hiring funnel. He created a digital application survey within the CRM.
Right.
He would post a generic job ad on Indeed. But to actually apply, the applicant had to read the ad, find a specific link, and follow it to the survey.
He used the automation as a filter.
Exactly. He said he'd get 1,000 applications on Indeed. But if only 5 people actually possessed the reading comprehension to follow the directions, click the specific link, and fill out the survey.
The system automatically filtered out the 995.
And those 5 were the only ones he ever bothered to interview. It's an automated filter for basic competence.
It saves hundreds of hours of HR time. And once they were hired, he automated liability protection.
Which is huge.
It was a massive undertaking because he was operating in Washington State, which has notoriously strict Department of Labor and Industries regulations.
Very strict.
He knew he needed safety training, but he didn't hire a film crew to shoot his own expensive safety videos. He used what he called R&D rip and duplicate.
Rip and duplicate. I love that.
He found official OSHA safety videos on YouTube for ladder safety, chemical handling, and heat stroke. He built an automated training portal so that new employees had to watch the videos and sign off digitally before their first day.
So when an employee unfortunately fell off a roof and tried to make an injury claim against the company,
Corey wasn't scrambling for paperwork.
he had a digital time-stamped paper trail proving the employee had completed the mandatory safety training and was issued a certificate.
He said that single automation saved him thousands of dollars in claims.
He also automated his daily operations. Every single Friday, without fail, his lead technicians received an automated text message with a link.
And what did the link do?
They had to click it, fill out a digital form with their truck inventory, and upload photos directly from their phone, proving their truck was clean and organized.
What Corey recognized was that he could not personally micromanage every single detail if he wanted to grow to multi-millions.
He couldn't be everywhere at once.
So he effectively fired himself from every single role in the company, from technician to sales to office manager.
How did he do it?
He brain dumped all of his institutional knowledge into ChatGPT to create rigid standard operating procedures, and then he used the CRM to automate the enforcement of those SOPs.
He didn't just build a pressure washing business. He essentially coded a digital franchise.
Yeah.
He made himself the software. He literally programmed his company to run exactly the way he wanted it to, without his physical presence.
It's the dream of every founder.
Now, I do want to bring up something from the source material here, because Corey is very candid, almost brutally so.
He definitely doesn't hold back.
He mentions that during his hiring process, they would aggressively check applicants' social media pages to see if they were, in his words, smoking blunts.
Right.
He also explicitly says he purposely hired attractive women for his office staff because the guys love it. And it kept his male technicians happy and reduced turnover.
Yeah, that's in there.
That sounds incredibly subjective, totally unfiltered, and honestly entirely contrary to modern, sterile corporate HR practices. It sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It absolutely is contrary to standard corporate HR. And it's important to acknowledge that raw, unfiltered reality of how some of these businesses operate on the ground.
It's a very different world.
Small, blue-collar business cultures often operate in a gritty space that is far removed from the polished, heavily sanitized HR departments of Fortune 500 companies. It reflects the highly personal biases and direct tactics of the founder. But if we look past the subjective nature of those specific hiring choices, we have to look at the underlying system he deployed.
The machine itself.
Yes. Corey's operational brilliance wasn't his subjective opinion on Facebook photos. His brilliance was the strict, automated architecture he built to process human capital.
The system itself is neutral. It's just an engine.
Exactly. The automation engine forces compliance. It drastically reduces double data entry.
And it creates a paper trail.
It ensures that 7-day, 14-day, 30-day, and 90-day employee performance reviews actually happen automatically, providing ironclad documentation for the state labor board, regardless of who is managing the process.
So whether you agree with his specific hiring criteria or not, the automated engine he built to execute his vision is undeniably effective.
Extremely effective.
It allowed him to scale to millions of dollars in a highly regulated state without being crushed by administrative overhead.
That is a fascinating way to look at it. The engine works flawlessly, regardless of what fuel you decide to put in it.
So, Corey's story proves you can automate the hiring, the training, the daily operations, and the quoting.
You can automate the whole middle.
But there is one final massive leak to address. Let's say you do everything right. You captured the lead in under 60 seconds.
Okay.
You sent them an accurate, automated quote with positive friction. You dispatched your team perfectly. But what if the customer simply doesn't show up?
Ah, the no-show.
Or worse, what if they do show up, you do a fantastic job, but they never tell anyone else about it, and you get no marketing value out of the job?
This brings us to the no-show problem. And we turn to data from Dr. Connect to illustrate the sheer, terrifying scale of this issue.
The medical field data is shocking.
In the medical field alone, missed appointments cost the U.S. healthcare system an estimated $150 billion annually.
$150 billion.
For an individual clinic, a single missed visit costs between $200 and $300 in lost revenue and wasted staff time.
It is a massive drain.
Right.
And the solution Dr. Connect highlights isn't exactly science fiction, but the execution of it is incredibly effective.
Right. What is it?
Highly structured, automated appointment reminders via SMS and email. Their data shows that implementing these rigid reminders reduces no-shows by an impressive 38%.
48% is huge for a clinic's bottom line.
And they've even mapped out the exact psychological cadence for these messages. You don't just text them once and hope for the best.
You have to pace it.
You text them 7 to 14 days out to set the expectation, then 48 to 72 hours out to confirm, and finally, a brief confirmation on the actual day of the appointment.
And crucially, these advanced systems feature intelligent waitlist management.
Oh, the waitlist feature is genius.
If a patient replies, "cancel," to that 48-hour text, a human receptionist doesn't have to scramble to call a list of 10 people to fill the spot.
Which takes hours.
The AI automatically texts the next person on the digital waitlist to offer them the slot. The schedule effectively heals itself in real time.
It just heals itself. But the automation journey doesn't stop when the appointment ends or the home service job is finished. You enter the post-job phase.
Which is entirely about generating reviews and building local SEO power.
This is where we look at tools like iBoostWeb's automated review request system, their ARS and quote IQ's review multiplier.
What do?
These tools do something brilliant. They trigger an automated request for a Google review the exact literal moment an invoice is paid online.
Timing is everything here. You are striking while the iron is extremely hot, while the customer is at the absolute peak of their satisfaction having just seen the finished product or received the medical care.
They are so happy in that exact moment.
By automating this trigger, you guarantee consistency. You never forget to ask.
And consistency is how positive reviews eventually overwhelm the inevitable negative ones.
Right. That volume of positive reviews drives your organic SEO ranking up on Google, which organically brings in more leads, completing the entire revenue cycle.
It creates a perfect self-sustaining loop because, asking for a review is basically like asking a total stranger for a favor.
It is a favor.
If you ask them right after you hand them a delicious slice of cake, they are happy and they will happily do it.
Sure.
But if you call them 3 days later and say, hey, remember that cake I gave you on Tuesday? They've forgotten the cake, they are busy with their kids, and they are going to ignore you.
The moment is gone.
Wait, let's look at this from the consumer side again.
Always a good idea.
If my doctor is texting me 3 times before an appointment, and my plumber is texting me for a Google review the literal second my credit card clears the terminal, are we risking automation fatigue?
You mean just annoying them?
Yeah.
So,
Are we just harassing the consumer to death with endless pings, buzzes, and notifications?
it is a very real concern, and a lot of business owners fear this. But the data from Dr. Connect actually points in the exact opposite direction.
Really?
Patient satisfaction with automated reminders actually exceeds 90%.
90%. People actually like getting all these texts.
They do. because modern consumers fundamentally prefer automation over silence.
That's
We
interesting.
live in a highly chaotic, distracted world. We want to be reminded. But there is a massive caveat.
What's the caveat?
It only works, and it is only appreciated if it offers genuine two-way communication.
It can't just be a robot shouting at you.
Exactly. It cannot not just be a robot shouting a confirmation into the void. The consumer must have the ability to text back the word cancel or reschedule and have the system actually understand and process that request instantly.
Oh, that makes total sense.
When automation is two-way, it feels like a service that respects their time rather than a megaphone.
Furthermore, from a legal and compliance standpoint, iBoost Web notes that automated systems actually ensure absolute compliance with anti-spam and data privacy laws.
Because it rigidly paces out the solicitations perfectly.
Right. A stressed human might accidentally text a client twice in one day. An automated system never will.
It removes human error.
That makes perfect sense. It is not harassment if it is actually helpful, contextually relevant, and incredibly easy to dismiss or interact with.
Exactly.
So let's pull all of these massive concepts together. We started by looking at a ship sinking from invisible leaks, and the forensic math we've uncovered today across these sources is just devastating.
It's hard to look at.
We are looking at organizations losing 20 to 30% of their internal workforce capacity to hidden inefficiencies and misaligned activities.
Massive internal leaks.
We're looking at an average of $126,000 bleeding out of local businesses every single year just because they physically cannot answer the phone when it rings.
Just gone.
We are seeing a 38% drop in potential revenue just from people forgetting to show up to appointments.
The cost of doing nothing, of relying on legacy human systems, is mathematically catastrophic.
It really is. But
Yeah.
the flip side is the immense power of the solution.
The technology is there.
By utilizing intelligent CRMs, CPQ quoting software with positive friction, instant text backs, AI voicemail transcriptions, and automated operational workflows like Corey Edmonds built, businesses can actually plug every single one of these leaks.
They can seal the ship.
So I want to turn this directly to you, the listener.
Yeah, why does this matter?
Why does this matter to you? Because whether you are running a sprawling medical clinic, managing a fleet of home service trucks, leading a corporate engineering team, or just trying to manage your own chaotic daily email inbox, you have missed calls in your life.
We all do.
You have idle capacity in your daily routine. Where are your leads, your opportunities, your critical tasks, your relationships melting on the sidewalk like an ice cube?
And more importantly, how can you build a system to automate the follow-up?
Exactly.
And if we look forward, if we connect this to the broader trajectory of where this technology is heading,
Yeah.
it raises a really fascinating, almost provocative question.
What's that?
We are rapidly approaching a point in the very near future where AI tools, these digital receptionists, will become completely indistinguishable from human beings on the phone.
They will sound perfectly human.
They will answer the call in under a second. They will have perfect instant recall of your entire CRM history, and they will speak with perfect empathetic human inflection.
It's coming fast.
When that happens, when perfect automated service is the expected baseline, will the businesses that stubbornly refuse to automate actually become luxury novelties?
Oh, wow.
Will we as consumers one day pay a premium just to experience the inefficiency, the slight delay, and the flawed authenticity of a real human being answering the phone?
That is a wild thought, actually paying extra for the privilege of someone putting you on hold for 2 minutes while they find a pen.
It could happen.
But until that day comes, the water is rising, the pressure is building, and the holes in the hull are very real. You either plug the leaks with the tools available or you sink. It's that simple.
It has been a truly fascinating dive.
We'll catch you on the next one.